Hey, Harmony Hustlers, it's Cheryl.
And I'm Amini.
This is the Harmony Hustle podcast. Hey, Harmony Hustlers, a quick note about today's episode. Ami and I love technology, but sometimes technology doesn't cooperate. But we are committed to bringing you weekly episodes here on YouTube and, of course, on audio streaming platforms. So if you're on Spotify, nothing's changed. But here on YouTube, our episode starts with a video, ends with a video, and in the middle, it's all audio. It's not messy, but we do talk about a concept called the messy middle in entrepreneurship, specifically around our podcast. So if you appreciate transparency, real conversation, tune in. So, my social media feed, based on my interest, is all about business and creators and the whole nine. And I saw this post about, like in the caption, it said something about the messy middle. I'm like,
Tell me more.
tell me more. What is So I went on the rabbit hole just to see what it was, and I learned actually that it is a book that's been written by someone. He owned Scott Belsky.
Oh,
I want to say Scott Belsky. It's a book called
Okay.
Messy Middle. I just started reading it or doing the audiobook, which is a new thing for me because I tend to
well,
to read
okay.
the book. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
time-wise. Let me just do the audiobook. But basically, in a nutshell, well, actually, have you heard of the Messy Middle?
I have not.
So the messy middle, again, in a nutshell, is just talking about that phase. I'm relating it to entrepreneurship, but it could
Okay.
even be wellness or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
From that initial excitement about something to the time that you reap the rewards or the benefit of it.
Oh.
It's that time in between all the ebb and the flow.
Oh.
Have you ever seen that meme where it shows like the scattered effect of what it looks like to hit a goal or whatever?
Yes.
Ups and downs. But that's essentially what the messy middle is. And I'm like, wow,
Messy indeed.
that's
It's a stressful middle.
you're feeling that.
Yeah. At times, it's a stressful, messy middle.
Messy middle. Yeah. Are you?
Ah.
Yeah. So have you experienced that in?
Girl, yes. You even have to finish your statement. Your question. Yes. You got a business? Yes. Yes.
Have a messy middle.
You have a messy middle. Sometimes, it feel like this is forever. This phase that I'm in, like trying to get things, as soon as I put out a fire, something else has, somebody sparking it. Somebody's sparking it. But just kind of going through that phase.
Yeah, because really, when we think about it, so let's say talking about entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
you start a podcast, you start
Yes.
a new business, Interlocks or whatever it is, or my coaching business, whatever it is, you have this excitement. And that fuels you.
That's the fun part.
That's the fun part. And you're focusing on that end goal. Like, yes, I'll be a fully established business. Maybe I'll be very, very, not maybe, you'll be successful, whatever that looks like for you. But then, it's like everything else in the middle where you have to really pull on your
Everything.
your grit. You need to have grit. You know what I mean? And I think kind of embrace it in order to navigate through it. I mean, it's a real thing. I mean, it happens to so many different levels, but I mean, even speaking about the podcast, we do videos, but there's the initial excitement about the podcast, what we're gonna do, and how we're going to share things with people.
Exactly.
And then there was that goal of maybe getting to 52 episodes or a year or 2 years or whatever it looks like, right? But then you have to dig your feet in and like do the work, which oftentimes you have a lot of highs.
Yeah.
Might have some lows,
Dips.
like some dips. You're unsure of whether or not you've made the right decision.
Exactly. Exactly.
Whether something you still feel aligned with. And it's just the emotional part of it. Yeah.
It is real.
Yeah. So it pulls on your
Everything.
on everything. Yeah. If you can see the studio, we have a little board here.
Yes.
It has the podcast name and it has our episodes. And I think having that visual reminder of where we're heading is helpful.
Yes.
But yeah,
I think it's real because we were having this let's be transparent. I was like, Cheryl, well, I'm going to commit to this year. We're going to have to reevaluate. We're going to have to see, okay, is it still something that we both want to do? And because it's the messy middle.
It's the mess.
Sometimes it's like, it gets like that because you have, especially if you have competing priorities and things of that nature. But I have to say one thing, walking into the studio space and seeing what you have created, it definitely was like, we got this.
We got this.
You know what? Forget that message I left you the other day. Listen, this is real. I kid you not. But sometimes you need, like, this visual is like, okay, wait, this is doable.
Yes.
We're doing it. Like, it's fun.
Mhm.
We got this,
You
we
do.
got this. So I agree. I feel like sometimes what could help for me is that having these milestones
Sure.
along the way, especially in the messy middle.
Yeah.
Really, like, what are some of the milestones that we can create that will help us to see what we're doing is not all for nothing. Like, what we're doing is adding value. It may be tough at times, but hey, maybe it's the fact that we are on episode da da da, or whatever that is,
Yeah.
or we had this amount of this impact, or we have these views when we look at the analytics. Like, those little things I feel can help a person
For sure.
in that messy middle portion of the journey.
Every small win helps you, but I think, yeah, the messy middle is that growing phase.
Yes.
And I think as you are able to embrace it, and remember why any goal or the business was started to begin with, it allows you to shift gears as needed in the process, and then the things that work really, really well, optimize them so that they are working even better. And then I think you just get to the point where you've created the well-oiled machine.
Yes.
And so the end seems more attainable.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there's not a lot of conversations about that.
I agree.
I don't know that I've heard anyone talk about the messy middle. You know what I mean? And how, if you are new in your journey as an entrepreneur, you will at some point hit that messy middle, and how to best navigate it so that you can ride that wave, right? Because you're going to have those dips, but in those dips, those are opportunities where there's, tremendous growth that can come about
Yeah.
from that experience, but really being able to endure. People don't really talk about that much.
Well, I agree with you. What you end up seeing on social media and even in conversations, people will talk about the initial idea, the excitement around it,
Yes.
and how they had a couple of little
Hiccups.
and then they ended up with this great end product. But no one wants to talk about the uneasy part of it.
Uneasy, and how it's probably more hiccups than the wins.
Right. But in the end, I feel like that's really the more valuable part of entrepreneurship, or if you're going to talk about entrepreneurship, is to say, hey, yeah, have your idea, have the end goal, know that this is coming,
Exactly.
get ready for it. You can do it.
Exactly.
There's nothing you cannot do. You know what I mean? And then just yeah, but I agree. People don't talk about it a whole lot. So it's a real thing. It's growing pains, or I don't know if say pains. You're going through a growth spurt.
Pains. I'll see it. I'll be the one.
But in this phase, that's where the transformation's happening.
Which is a beautiful thing.
It forces me to truly tap into either a strength that I didn't know I had, or some skill that I either haven't used in a long time, or you get kind of creative.
Very
Creative. How can I get this done?
Exactly.
Oh, did that work? It worked. How can I make it better?
Exactly.
So then the next time it's a lot easier. So yeah, it's a roller coaster, both and emotions, physically, mentally, all of it.
All of it. So, question for you.
Yeah.
When's the last time you felt like you were in that messy middle? Or is there something that you've experienced recently, or something that has happened in the past where it's like, oh, and when you had to pivot, and tap into
A pivot. The most recent would be the podcast.
Yes.
I think that every business idea,
Yes.
I love the initial phase. We've talked about this before. Like I love the process, but the process, the process means the messy middle.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm really identifying with that when I say I like processes, but I would say the podcast.
The podcast. Okay.
Yeah. So coming in today and seeing, the on the board, I wrote that this morning.
Yeah.
Like I need to also see
Yes.
what it looks like to say that we are this podcast and we have this mission. How did we come to this place? What was the purpose for it?
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, this is like a really, not just seeing the accomplishments that we've made, this is pivoting like a mindset, because if you're not seeing, for me, if I'm not seeing it and out, it's easy to stay in my head and say, well, is this the right thing? Or doubting that it's the right thing. And so also the messy middle being that place where I think not just the space in between starting and finishing, but you don't see the immediate like ROI of your work. And that can be hard for a lot of people, But I've mentioned before, sometimes you have to just know that there's always at least one person. And if you're okay with one person being impacted, that then creates that domino effect.
Exactly.
And maybe even shifting how you measure.
I was going to say that, yes.
The growth and success.
I think that's it. I think we can't measure it based off of what society may use as a tool for measurement. Like, oh, you don't have that many subscribers, so you're not making an impact. You don't have that many likes. There's no comments on your content. So it's like really kind of pulling away from that. You know what? The goal is, darn it all, we are almost halfway through our recordings.
Yeah.
No matter if a person's watching or not, but we want you to watch.
I want you to watch, yeah. So come on, be the side eye.
Okay. Huh.
Little big side eye.
Little big.
No matter what the comments say, don't say, or the likes, is knowing that we have created something from nothing, which is quite, for me, satisfying, and that we have said what we wanted to say in that time frame, and it is going to be of benefit to someone, and it will reside there as long as we allow it to.
It's a win. As I'm looking at that, I'm like, wow, we're gonna have to give put the image in so they can see this as well in in our video, because this is definitely, it's satisfying to look at. It's like, wow, really? We're doing it.
No, but that's the biggest thing. I mean, it is a real thing.
It is.
It is a test of your determination, drive, your resiliency, your perseverance. And I think in that process, it's, if you like, we're on the same page, so that is obviously helpful to have someone or your team or whatever, all being on the same page, understanding the ultimate goal. So that helps that messy middle, but
definitely. Yeah. Yes, definitely. And just keeping in mind, like, what is the end goal, right? What is the end goal? And documenting the process and creating a visual component to it. It definitely helps to put things into perspective.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Knowing how I know you, I was like, I had the music playing this morning when she came in. If I had my room in therapy, I would have that on as well. I've got the sensory, our drinks that we're having in these cups here.
Is that why you said, you want me to top you off?
And then I'm like, I know her to be very visual, but this helps me too. I'm like, how can I make it seem more real so we can appreciate how much work we've actually done? But seriously, just thinking about it, like I said in the last episode, zooming out a little bit and saying, all right, where we are is a very real moment in time.
Yes.
The messy middle is a real thing. How can the mindset or the moment be recalibrated to see it differently?
Yes.
How far we've come, how close we are to the next milestone. And for me, it's kind of reinvigorating.
Yeah. Right. Listen, you did that. Okay, so you need people in your corner, because sometimes throughout that messy middle, honestly, this is real. I think it was so timely.
Yeah.
This conversation, what led up to this, it's like, I don't know. Listen, we gonna see what it do. But walking in, definitely. So I think that it's so important to just, like, what you did. Like, I appreciate it. I thank you. I'm putting it out there, letting everybody know. I applaud her for doing that, because when I came in, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, she really did. Oh, I did. I was like, this is what we doing. So she really, helped to provide a reset. So I thank you, because, girl, I needed that. Sometimes you need to be like, girl, sis, I got you. I'm gonna help you out. Sometimes you need to zone out to kind of like see and get again, just the reset. So I appreciated that. This was good. This was good. That's what I feel like it's about. And I mean, this is definitely not the topic, but if you're going to have a partnership, I think it's important to be able to be aligned with someone where you'll get each other. You know what I mean? And because that can help to sustain you as you go through this a messy minute.
Bullet question
Which
time.
in a little light.
Bullet question light.
Yeah.
All right. What's a wellness practice you swear by, even if people roll their eyes at it?
Meditation. You did it earlier.
Think about it. Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. And what about you?
You know, I have meditated, and, so I always say, you could say meditation, but for some people it could be prayer. And, to me, kind of one and the same, or very, very similar in different ways. But I guess meditation would be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it for me. That was easy.
That was easy.